With me now, Democratic Congressman Lloyd Doggett from Texas. He sits on the House Ways and Means Committee. So, Congressman, a pleasure. Welcome.
Thank you, Brooke. Good to be with you.
So let's just remind everyone, this was the president this morning saying the law is on his side.
I'm under audit, but that's up to whoever it is. From what I understand, the law is 100% on my side.
Congressman, how would you respond to the president?
This is a president that no matter the issue, he always considers himself to be above the law. The law could not be clearer. A near century-old statute that says the Internal Revenue Service, the Treasury Department, shall produce the records that we request. I don't know any reason that there is confusion over the term shall. But in this case, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee has crafted a very narrow request, much more narrow, frankly, than I would prefer in terms of both years and the scope of returns that are requested. And he has provided in the letter the reasons why we need this information as a part of our work assuring confidence of Americans in our tax system, which is so very important. And so this president can either permit his officials to fulfill their ministerial function, a very simple thing. They are expecting this. They ought to be able to get this back to us in a matter of days, if not hours, or he can obstruct. And that appears to be what he's doing, is he wants to obstruct the compliance with the law, just as he's been guilty of obstruction in so many other areas.
Let's, be careful on obstruction. Nobody knows why Mueller punted on obstruction. We're all waiting to get that Mueller report, A. And B, if I may, who knows? Hours or days, we'll wait to see if they, honor your request. But I do have to ask, as you are on Ways and Means, specifically, what are you looking for within these 6 years' worth of tax returns?
Well, let me be clear on obstruction. I think every American has watched what has happened over the last year plus and can make their own judgment whether there's been obstruction. Now, whether there is beyond a reasonable doubt for a criminal prosecution, that may be another question. But I think there clearly has been obstruction, repeatedly obstruction from President Trump. That's not the focus of our investigation. We want to explore whether this audit has been done properly, whether there's a need for any change in the audit standards. We really just want to hold President Trump to the Richard Nixon standard. You'll recall he said he wanted to show that he wasn't the American people, he wasn't a crook. The IRS had praised him, but when
despite the fact that he was under audit.
He was under audit, but under audit, the Internal Revenue Service praised him publicly. But when we actually got the returns and looked at them, it turned out he owed about $500,000 in taxes and deserved no praise whatsoever. I don't know what it is that President Trump is hiding, but this narrow request will allow us not to put it on the front pages of the Times or on your program until there has been a thorough review by experts protecting the president's privacy and determining if there's any public reason for us to disclose them.
Sure, and obvious, if I may jump in, obviously the Trump administration would take issue with the word hiding. We know that the president has said, I'm not under audit, and speak to his lawyers. Let me add this color today, a Trump administration official saying, quote, this is a hill and people would be willing to die on it, not to mention Republicans are accusing your own party of weaponizing the IRS.
There's no weaponization at all. They did, in fact, weaponize the IRS a few years back when they exposed the records, the tax returns of a number of IRS employees. But this narrowly crafted request is designed to fulfill our legislative responsibilities, can be done privately to review it, to determine if there is any basis for releasing it to Congress, a judgment we have not made yet, and it ought to be complied with. The Republicans, of course, blocked 6 times over 2 years my motions to try to get these returns. They've had one excuse after another. The Trump family may have gained as much as $1 billion from the recent Trump tax law. So he has much reason to protect himself, and we have much reason to explore whether we are assuring the confidence that American people must have in our tax system and how our tax system is designed, and whether it has been influenced in improper ways by the Trump family trying to seek personal enrichment. Clearly, his businesses are very intermingled with the public trust, and he apparently believes that every government official is first and foremost a Trump employee rather than an employee of the American people whose first responsibility is to the public trust and to our Constitution.
Well, the nation will be watching, Congressman Doggett, if you are able to get your hands on those tax returns. Congressman, appreciate your time. Thank you, sir, very much.